What up, guys? Joe the Investor here. Welcome to the second episode of the Wealthy Podcast. And this episode is going to be about the rat race. What is the rat race? AKA the matrix, the system, how to get out of the rat race, what it takes to, change your mindset, and, just kind of bring you guys some value, some advice, some things that I learned along the way. I'm 32 years old now, so, there's a lot of things that I've learned, especially in my 20s, that just I feel like I could give to you guys. A lot of wisdom that I have that I feel like I should pass down to you guys. And, hopefully you watch this through the end. You'll learn something, maybe take some notes. And I just feel like I could bring a lot of good value in this subject. So what is the rat race? It is basically, it's a cycle that the system has designed to use your energy and give you money. So it's basically trading your time in for money. That's what the rat race is. And it's a system that it's just a certain cycle. It keeps you, just satisfied to survive, to, have money for food and shelter and bills, stuff like that. But then it doesn't allow you to level up, to get out of your debt. The system is designed to keep you in debt, to keep you poor, and, give you just enough money for maybe one vacation a year, two vacation a year. It's modern day slavery. That's what it really is. That's what it boils down to. And, a lot of people don't know that they're in the rat race, or they just don't care, or, they're just happy with, this just mindless entertainment. It took me a while to understand that I was just comfortable, with the way I was living. And, it takes a mindset shift to understand that you're in the matrix, that you're in this system, and that keeps you poor, that keeps you satisfied with the things you have. And so, a big part of the reason you're stuck in the matrix is because of debt. The matrix is designed to get you in debt, and then you struggle your way out of debt. You never get ahead. That's what it's designed to do. It makes you want to keep up with the Joneses, buy the newest things, the newest iPhone, the newest car, the newest game. It wants you to just keep chasing after that. And if you keep doing that, that's how you stay behind. You can't get ahead trying to keep up with with rich people when you don't have the money for it, So if you're spending more than what you're making, you're going to be stuck in the rat race, stuck in the matrix. And they also do this with inflation, so they'll raise minimum wage. I remember back in the day, minimum wage was like $8 an hour, and now it's like almost like 18, 20 over here in LA. So like what they do is they raise the minimum wage to give you the illusion that, oh yeah, we're making more money now. But then they just raise the prices of food and, gas and, stuff like that. So it's really just a game. That's really what it is. It's a game for them. And, everyone's a part of it. When you're born, you're given a social security number, you're given a name, and you're born into this game, whether you want to play it or not, So it's just, you got to figure your way out of this. And hopefully, this video can help you guys. So the first step is, like I said, it's a mindset shift. You have to figure out a way to get your time back, because that's the most important thing here is your time. That's what these jobs take from us. They take all your time to give you a little bit of money, a little bit of satisfaction. And if you think about it, people work all of their lives, most of their lives, they're just working, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, like that's not living. That's not life. That's not how we're designed. That's not what we're designed to put here on earth for, you know? So, so everyone's just brainwashed and they think that's how life is. But, what you got to do is switch your mindset. You got to think differently, think outside the box. Try and design your own side business, side hustles. That's what I did at 25. I realized, I was stuck in this matrix, and what I did was I said, okay, what can I do to get out of this? What can I do? Because if you work at a job, you're just going to stay stuck there forever. So what I did was I got into real estate. I learned about stocks. I learned about supply and demand. I learned about, side businesses, YouTube. And so what I decided to do was go all in on real estate. Real estate really intrigued me. So I went into real estate, started making a little bit of money, and I realized, man, I could make money doing my own thing. I started flipping stuff online, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just go all in on myself. That's what you have to do. You have to believe in yourself and go all in on yourself. Learn some new skills, learn how to do things that you like, and just go all in on that. You have to change your mindset, and just realize that it takes time, it takes patience, it takes hard work, delayed gratification. You gotta realize that it's a process. Like me myself, I'd rather make 50 grand a year doing my own business, my own side hustles, than 100 grand a year at a job that I hate. And I'm sure a lot of you would do the same too. It's more satisfaction when you make your own money, you have your own time, you could take a vacation when you want, and be your own boss. But that takes a lot of discipline to be your own boss. A lot of people don't have that. So you got to build these skills first. Discipline, consistency. You got to strengthen your mind so you could, have your own side businesses and hustles and be successful. And another thing is living within your means, and realizing what's an asset and what's a liability. Assets pay you, liabilities cost you. So, you have to learn from that. So when I decided to buy an RV, I already had it in my head that, okay, I'm going to use this as an asset. If I just let it sit there and use it 3 times a year like most people, it's going to be a liability. So whatever I buy now, I only buy it if I know it's going to make me money. Like I'm planning on starting a churro business as well. So, I could easily buy a new car right now if I wanted to and just, be satisfied with that. But no, I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to rent it out, a few times a month and just have it cover my payments. Whatever you buy has to make you money or has to get you ahead. Whatever you pay for, should be paying you back or, learning something, like paying for mentorship or something like that. You got to stop spending money just on random things and things that aren't benefiting you. Yeah, so just what I would say is once you just, learn about the rat race and how it works, just try and figure out a way to start your own business. It doesn't matter what it is, just do what you got to do to figure that out. That's, super important. And then, leverage what you already have. Like if you have a house, a lot of people are, or not a lot, but some people inherit a house or they, have a nice car already, then leverage what you got, start a business with that, with a car, rent it out, a few times a month and see if you like it and see how it goes, or rent out a room in your house so you don't have to pay mortgage. A lot of people's rent is the highest thing they're paying monthly. So if you could figure out a way to cut out your rent, that gives you some breathing room to start a business. Like me right now, I got my Airbnb and I got my RVs covering my rent. So I pay no rent. All I have to worry about is making enough money for food, and anything that I make just goes straight back into the business. So, that's what you got to do to get out of it. And then another thing is to track your expenses. A lot of people just spend money randomly and don't really care or track where their money's going. A lot of people spend money on just rent on eating out, on subscriptions, and they don't see how a lot of people are just spending more money than they're making. And if you keep doing that, you're just going to get stuck in this cycle, and it's a never-ending cycle. And I'm telling you, you need to track every time you spend money. Like, ask yourself, why did I spend money on this? Did I really need to buy this? My biggest expense was I was spending money on just eating out, on food. And once I realized, okay, I could just buy some food in bulk and just cook it at my house. So I saved like 500, 400 a month just on food, just from stopping eating out. So if you could increase your income and decrease your expenses, now you're making a lot more money per month. So that's super important, to really track your expenses and understand how money works. Whatever you make extra, invest that into your business, invest that into learning a new skill, into mentorship. I'm a big fan of mentorship. When I was 24, 25, I would go to these real estate meetups and just talk to investors and really pick their brain and see how they think. And it really opened up my eyes. Like, wow, these guys they're thinking on a whole nother level. Like, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and have apartments and multiple houses. Like, I've never thought that was possible until I went to these meetups, until I actually met people who are doing it. And just that really changed my mind from a worker's mindset to a boss, owner's mindset. And so those are the few steps that you got to take to get out the rat race. I would say number one is just be aware, understand that you are in the rat race, you are in the matrix. It is, understand what the system is. It is designed to keep you poor. And then you just have to make a game plan, write it down. Write down a whole game plan on what you're gonna do, and take it day by day, brick by brick. Take it step by step, and just slowly work your way out of the matrix. It's tough, it's real tough. It's not easy, but if you stick with it, stay consistent, be disciplined, you will be able to get out. I'm not saying I'm out yet, because I'm still in it like most of you guys, but I got like 1 foot out right now. I don't have to pay rent. I got some expenses covered, so now I just have to go all in on my businesses. If I just go all in and double what I'm doing right now, well, then I could live freely. I could travel wherever I want. And I just hope that you guys understand how important it is to get out of it. Because once you're out of the matrix, you could help your family get out. You could help your friends out. You could live a free life. That's what true freedom is. Freedom of time, having your time to do what you want to do. And that's true wealth. To me, true wealth is being healthy, of course, but then having the freedom of time to do whatever you want. And we're only here for 80 years tops, so like, you just gotta, you want to live your life how you want to live it. You don't want to spend your whole life just working and enjoy the last 10, 15 years how most people do. So if you guys got any questions, anything you want to ask me, feel free to DM me. You could comment. I appreciate every viewer that watches this. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot more content. Hopefully get some people on here too to talk about their lifestyle and how they change their mind, give you guys some more examples. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.